Belgacem Haba, merci d'avoir accepté mon invitation et c'est vraiment un honneur de t'avoir aujourd'hui, surtout pour parler d'une question véritablement qui nous interpelle tous, cette question des nanotechnologies et comme première question, les nanotechnologies et la géopolitique, ce champ de bataille invisible qui est véritablement hermétique au commun des mortels, puisque les nanotechnologies sont souvent perçues comme une révolution scientifique et industrielle, mais hein, dont on ne comprend pas très bien le potentiel évidemment stratégique. À ton avis, quels sont les enjeux cachés derrière cette course aux nanotechnologies entre les grandes puissances et est-ce qu'il existe aussi, ça c'est très important, un risque de fracture technologique avec des pays comme les nôtres, hein, qui pourraient être totalement indépendants des autres de ces avances, nous qui parlons souvent de souveraineté. Voilà, à toi l'honneur.
أولا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I'm gonna do it in English as we
Yeah, you can
discussed.
switch in English as you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
First, thank you very much for calling me and setting this. It's absolutely my pleasure. And let me let's start from the start, like they say. Before we start nanotechnology, let's explain what is nanotechnology, right? So the problem is most people have the wrong definition of nanotechnologies. Technology in general, a long time ago, when it started a while back, it was in the millimeter level. Everything is in the millimeter. Everybody knows what a millimeter is. Then things get miniaturized. As you miniaturize, you make things more powerful, consume less power, cheaper. And that's the intent. Make it smaller so you can cram more transistors, more wires, more things. And that went for many years. Then we switch to, as it gets smaller, we switch to the micron. It's a millimeter divided by 1,000. When you reach the micron, then that came the microelectronics. That's what the word microelectronics came from. So basically everything became on the level of a micron. And we went on for sometimes we have been this technology. In the micro level, everybody is capable to do it. It's not a big problem. Now, lately, things start to switch and going to the nanotechnology. What does it mean? That basically instead of a micron, we're running toward the nano level, nanomicron, which is one thousandth of a micron. And usually nanotechnology is everything that deals between 1 nanometers all the way to 100 nanometers. That's the range. Once you reach that range, it's called nanotechnology. Okay. That being said, this is just an evolution in the technology itself and how things moved. The biggest problem is people confuse there are two things in the nano level. There is the nanoscale and the nanotechnology. And I will explain because these are very, very, very important. People mix them together and they think it's the same thing. Nanoscale is you shrink things to become at the nano level. I will keep shrinking things, shrinking it. And I will talk about it and that shrinks until you reach the level, the nano level. And the nanotechnology is means you bring things, you make them to the nano level that become 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers. Such a way you manipulate the atoms or your system or your machine or wherever that makes thing that cannot make them fundamentally. That means if you have something that has a certain behavior, once you make it in the nano level, it behaves differently. It has a different behavior, something that we cannot achieve. And that's what the real nanotechnology. Everything else that is being shrunk only and made smaller and smaller is called, I call it nanoscale technology, what you are shrinking things. Hopefully, this is becoming clear between the two. There is a fight on both sides. And let me start with probably people are more, in fact, the one that impacts more people is the nanoscale itself. Nanoscale is you shrink things and shrink things and shrink things. And there is something called Moore's law, where everything shrink until the more you shrink, you have more transistor, you have more power, you have more computers. This thing, your phone can do more. And we reached the level where the size that we are using is the nano level, and they use them as node. They call them node, and node is for example, a long time ago, we used to be at 100 nanometers node, 45 nanometers node, and it kept going, 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 going. Now we are 7, 5, 3, and even they are talking about 2 nanometers and below. Why I'm discussing this one, this is where the biggest problem between the countries and all this mess in this world fighting about, because everything rely on making transistors, making CPUs and GPUs and computers. If too bad I don't have a slide here. I could have shown the slide. In about when we reach the 45 nanometers level, uh, there were like 28 to 30 companies in the world that makes these transistors. They were capable to make chips. And as it gets shorter and shorter, it's become more expensive, especially in lithographies. Lithography is how do you make this line? They have the light and things, and there are only a few people that can make that expose and develop and all these. So as it gets more expensive, then many companies and many countries completely are stepping out completely. And it's getting less and less and less and less. By the time it hit 5 nanometers, there are only 3 companies in the world that are capable to do the to do the chip at this level, at the 5 and 2 and 1. There is TSMC, Intel, and Samsung. Basically, those are the, and it's expected by the time we reach 1 nanometers, there is only 2 will be left. And this is where the problem is. So the problem is, for example, a lithography machine that does expose and develop is in the level of $100 million. A fab that you have to redo every 2 years, 3 years, it's in $4 or $5 billion. So there are not that many countries or companies that are capable to spend that much money to make that. And that's where the fight is. Who is going to be in charge? Because whoever hold that, control the electronics, control the AI, control the everything is controlled by this. And that's what the biggest problem. So all the other small countries will stay kind of stuck to the outside and unable to do anything.
It,
So I will stop at this level talking about the nanoscale. The nanotechnology, what people use, they say nanotechnology or both, but in fact it should be nano technology is we have to make something in the nano level particles that gives us something better. I'll give an example, very simple example. It is today possible to do copper, the metal copper, at room temperature that you have copper that is liquid. And the way they do it is they shrink the atoms, they break it to the level that it is a nano, and they put kind of a layer around every molecule or every few molecules. They surround them and they keep them in a liquid form. Then you have a liquid copper at room temperature, something that you cannot do otherwise. And once you do something like this one, liquid copper at room temperature, people can do a million things with it. These are, I have a friend of mine who started a company, startup, it just got bought a few years ago, to grow silicon, you have to make silicon at around 1,500 degrees, because it needs a lot of heat. You have to melt silicon dioxide and make silicon out of it. What they did is they just took the silicon wafer, they crushed it completely, and they made it in powder that is in a nano level. And suddenly now they put it in a liquid and they spin coat it, and they can make solar cells. They grow them at 200 degrees. They grow them over glass, over thing. The nanotechnology, which is these particles being used, you could be used anywhere. I mean, it's in women's sun cream for the sun that they put this whatever la pomade they use, the cream they use in their hand. They add particulate of titanium oxide, if I'm not wrong. And the nano level, when they make it in the nano level, it stops the UV more than it does if it is a larger size. So this is, I just wanted to explain these two. Hopefully, I made it clear for
Oh, you
our
you
listeners.
really made it clear, for sure, and it's impressive this point of strategy in the shrinking to hit many countries to take them out of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the real purpose, and if it, if it,
Nowadays, in fact, there is only two. They are ending. And as I said, it's a fab that does AI chip. Everybody goes to TSMC. Samsung does for themselves.
Mhm.
Everybody goes to TSMC. Now, you can understand the fight over TSMC.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't require a genius to explain what happened.
yeah.
And the silicon business, it's at $500 billion today.
Oof. Yeah,
And it's supposed to be $1 trillion in a few years.
yeah.
And every single machine, from your car to your tank to your phone, will require a chip of that sort. That comes from only one person. So basically, we're moving all this money that we own. We're paying one person who guide us what to have.
Hmm. Ah,
If
yeah,
they decide you should not have that chip, you don't have other choice.
yeah, you don't have it. The word sovereignty doesn't have any meaning in our country unless we
Yeah,
decide to
yeah, yeah.
spend billions.
Yeah, sovereignty has a
Was shakes.
grain of salt on it.
Really shakes. Alors, passons à la deuxième question. Alors, concernant justement la
Miniaturisation.
miniaturisation, the shrinking,
Yeah,
qui défie les limites en fait de l'humain avec les progrès de la nanotechnologie. Donc, on va
yeah,
pas de l'anoélectronique, on va
yeah.
de la nanoscale, voilà,
Yeah,
et, et,
nanoscale
et en biomécanique,
yeah.
en biomédecine. Et nous nous rapprochons d'un monde où l'infiniment petit pourrait réellement transformer notre quotidien. Donc, implants neuronaux, des capteurs invisibles ou encore des machines
Yeah, 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 yeah.
moléculaires autonomes. Alors,
It's
est-ce qu'il y
already
a un
exists.
futur, hein? Est-ce qu'il y a un futur à cette fusion? Is there a future to this fusion between human being and machine that became really inevitable?
No, I mean, it
Mm.
is the fun. You have to look at the fundamental. The fundamentals are easy. When you make things very, very tiny, right? Below a certain size, they start to be and the size of your enzyme and the size of DNA, right? You can send them and make them alter whatever you want. If it is for example, it's in a micron or a few micron, it does not go through our skin, right? If you have powder in your surface in your hand, it's not gonna go in. But now, if you have nano stuff, you put them in your hand, it's gonna go straight to your body. So
So, sorry, Belgacem, but that's why I want to interrupt you about this point. People are afraid about that when you start talking about that because our main fear is what we breathe. because it's the first entry to our body. And
Yeah.
nanotechnology, it's something that we can really breathe without knowing it. So people can make
It,
you breathe
it, it, it,
things
it,
that you don't know.
it is. It is. I mean, there is even worse than that. There are things that are worse than that. And you have to be careful. You have to be. You have
Yeah.
to rely on human goodness. That
Oh, oh.
there are always people
Hmm.
who fight against destruction of humanities,
Yeah,
but there are others who work for it.
still, this point still exists in the 20th or 19th century, and I don't know. But now we're in the 21st century. It was
Yeah.
completely lost.
And for me is there are people who go to no, even though I already believe في القرآن تقول اقرأ,
Yeah,
so it doesn't give us a limit. It doesn't say اقرأ
yeah,
and stop at these, but we have to understand when humanity goes.
yeah, yeah.
The biggest problem is when you use this nano stuff to affect the behavior of the person. That's become problematic. There is a good aspect where you cure somebody. You have a problem. They give you some nano stuff that goes inside and cure a disease. These are all good things we can do, right? But at the same time, there are people who use it for something else, unfortunately. There is probably some of the stuff I worry about, like going and affecting the DNA of the person, modifying it so they can do something else, modifying the cells. Those are I have problem. I'm lucky. I work only on semiconductors, so I change only semiconductor.
For sure, for sure.
So I have no big regret.
No regret at all. Uh, okay, let's talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, and I will say it in French. And
Yeah.
euh, sommes-nous en train de créer réellement nos propres concurrents finalement avec l'IA? C'est très bien que tu es un des inventeurs les plus prolifiques du monde actuellement et reconnu, honoré partout, mais aujourd'hui, les intelligences artificielles, il n'y en a pas qu'une, puisque finalement, sont capables d'innover en générant des brevets. En fait, elles arrivent à faire même du reverse engineering de façon extrêmement efficace et à transformer des processus pour les rendre plus innovants ou plus inventifs ou beaucoup plus
Yes, yes,
performants.
yes,
Alors,
yes.
penses-tu qu'un jour, en fait, l'intelligence humaine ne sera plus indispensable pour innover? Même moi, je ne le pense
I,
pas, mais je te laisse le choix de la réponse, hein.
it's a very good question. I hear it quite a lot, and I
Yeah,
argue quite a lot about it.
yeah.
At work, we try to, because we do research a lot of, we do invention and all these. We try to use AI, try to figure out if it can think and come up with a new concept and new ideas. And as it is now, it's very, 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 very far. It's not capable to do even. And let me explain how I look at it. The artificial intelligence is for me is like it's like a baby, right? A baby is born, knows nothing, right? And it needs time to be fed all this information. And you keep feeding the information. If all you do is feed the information and it does not have something else to give it its instinct to create things, I doubt it can reach the human mind from a thinking point of view, because all it does is it goes and search what exists around and try to make conclusion based on what exists. Inventing it has been always something new that doesn't exist. So if the machine search for it, it doesn't find it, it will be very hard to invent it, so to speak. At least that's what I believe. Thing could be different, but I believe the machine will get better and better as time pass. But I have an expression I say to my friend, and I say, regardless of all the AI, artificial intelligence, natural stupidity will win at the end. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly. It's totally true. Totally true.
so eventually, natural people
Yeah.
will figure out a way to beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, that's what we try daily. Try to beat this artificial intelligence by giving them
No,
stupid questions, try to
it
challenge
does.
them.
Probably you remember in the 80s. That's at the level when we had the third industrial revolution, 69, 70s. We started with the third industrial revolutions. At that time, the whole system was based on automations. Electronics is coming, miniaturization and automation, everything get automated. And the whole world went crazy that we all gonna lose job because this robot gonna replace us. And we went, I remember just, I came to Stanford here, to school here, and all people talk about, we're going to lose job, we're going to lose job. And what they did, and this is very important, the countries that succeed are the country that say, okay, the job that we're going to lose, why don't we take those people and train them to do something else that program the robot, work with the robot, stuff like this, and elevate the level of the employee, of the teachers, everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you stay at the same level you were before, you're gonna be swept. But if you move up a little bit, nothing happen. I believe AI is the same thing. AI, there is an expression that says you don't lose your job to AI only if you don't know AI.
It's totally true. Totally
So
true.
people who don't know AI, they're going to lose their job to AI.
Yeah.
Everybody else who try to learn and get themselves into the AI movement and at least
Yeah.
know how it is being used, they are not going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, many are reluctant to use AI, but it's a
Yeah,
kind of fear that it will disappear in the next 2 to 3 years
yeah. The
maximum.
fear will go, but the AI will have a big impact, definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, we have AI and we have AI is what nanotechnology was a few years back.
Hmm.
We had nanotechnology everywhere, and AI is coming, playing. So, in a few years, I believe virtual reality is going to be another one that's going to mess with a lot of people.
Yeah. Belgacem, we are reaching the end with the last question that I like a lot. It's about a forbidden project that you wanted to create as something that was not allowed, something that goes beyond ethics, that it creates a sort of issue in your mind. Can I go beyond this limit or should I stay just at the side or before that limit, just to be in accordance with my value, with my education,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
with human nature.
yeah.
Yeah,
If we all had physics and we know that atoms are around 2 nanometers, 1 nanometer roughly
yeah,
in size. So I think we're gonna shrink, but when we reach the atom, there is not much we can do, right?
yeah.
So we have to start thinking about other stuff. So everybody that is kind of a scientist like myself or whatever, anybody who's we start thinking about how do you progress from there, right? How do you move from there? Are a few ways, but then you start, especially storage. Storage is the biggest problem that we have. What do you all the world will have? I think what do you call it? 75 zettabyte of data, which is 21
Something.
zeros defined after every year, and somebody is storing it somewhere, and that person who is storing it is gonna be leading the world with AI. So we have to learn how to where to store this data, and we don't. And thinking is, can we use DNA to store in it, right?
On the moon,
I
on the
mean,
moon, on the moon. Probably people are thinking of storing
no, no,
it
no,
there.
no, not for that. In our DNA, human being, can you store
Yeah,
in the human being?
yeah, yeah. You can store all the knowledge of the world
Humanity, you
since
can
of
put
the
it in,
humanity. Yeah,
yeah. So
in the DNA.
it's inhuman because the problem we are messing with something, you can create something else.
Mm,
Doing because thing gets smaller, then you start. Can we make computer with bacteria, with stuff like this one? But
yeah.
here you start dealing with things that you don't know where they are going, right? How do you interact between computing, electronics, and human brain? So
Mm,
you start taking another step. Uh, Elon Musk has in his company, he's not the only one, but at least his company is becoming famous. They're trying to interact between the brain and the electronics and try to figure out how to get information passed through and affect the brain and all that.
When we talk about that, 2 days ago, one of my friends look at me. We were discussing about Alzheimer and
Yeah.
family members that are hurt by this disease, etc. And he told me, "Listen, Slim, should we be alive? We are above 60. Why are we still here? We are, we became useless to humanity." And those questions, because everyone think when we look at the nanotechnology and their possible impact on improving probably health of the people and cure diseases that we don't cure them with normal medicine. So yeah, those questions started popping up.
Let, let, let me bring a very interesting question
Uh,
here. It turned out that is the guy that did a very interesting plot I have seen for
mm,
uh, heartbeat and how many years you live, right?
yeah,
The frequency of your heartbeat and the number of years. And for all creature in the earth, from elephant to human to, and put all of them in the map, and it turned out to be a straight line. We all have about 2 billion heartbeats on average in our lifetime.
yeah,
1 billion, I believe.
one
Uh,
billion.
yeah. And if you look at the beginning of the century before penicillin, human had 1 billion, and suddenly they jumped to 2 billion after penicillin came in, right?
Yeah,
So we are cheating death.
yeah.
So what happened is with all these technologies, we're making life longer and healthier for people, hopefully,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Unfortunately, for some, other people are unfortunately in a big misery, paying for all the problems. Yeah, so it is that we improve life many years ago. I mean, if you look in the past, people did not live this long, but they are living longer and longer and longer. And so if we cure diseases, figure out how to but have a better life, we might live longer and do more during life. So
Mm. Yeah,
at
okay.
least
Yeah.
I'm kind of an optimist here.
Yeah. Last word to you, Belgacem. Thank you for this interview. So, any things, anything you want to add to those impressive
Yeah,
words that you gave us?
for me, I mean, always look at. I started with the ultra, the nano scale things. It's frightening how the economy of the world through the electronics and through it's being governed by few people, and so people have to figure out how to snap out of that stuff, right? Figure out how to jump and find the corner for themselves,
Hmm.
what to do rather not to follow. Otherwise, you'll end up following forever. You become a slave forever. So figure out what my place in this world.
in this
I
world.
believe that's very important for every society to look at. We pray that we'll have always a majority of people that have sane values and look for the better of the humankind. But
Mm.
unfortunately, lately we cannot say so.
Uh, Belgacem, just please, I really want to continue with those questions, but one small word about these technologies in our country, Algeria. I know
Mhm.
that you understand what is happening here. You have access to many, let's
Mhm.
say, politician people that really want to take Algeria to another level. Do
Mhm.
they understand the importance of this technology and the mean that they have to prepare or to put in the pot uh, to have that technology a little bit mastered here in the country.
I, I'm naive to say
Diplomatically, you can say it.
I'd be naive to say I know what's going on because I'm far
Yeah,
away, and I know what I read and what people and few things, not that
yeah,
much, but what's important, I believe I don't know. I hope they know. I
yeah.
hope
Let's assume
uh,
they know. Let's assume they know.
yeah,
We
they
are
know. The
yeah, we are
biggest
smart.
problem is this is an easy problem. It's a problem that needs money only, right?
Exactly. That's why the means are
You
important.
cannot come and say, "Oh, how $1 million and go and do." This is not a game of $1 million. It's a game of a big game, and
Okay.
you focus on one thing or two things you want to do good, and you want to be an expert in it.
Uh,
Then you bring the people that can help you do it, pay them well, and put your money in it and gamble. Many countries did the same thing. I believe that's how you do it. You cannot do everything. We don't have the budgets of Algeria or whatever, all these third countries. Put Africa all together. I'm not sure they will be able to put a nice fab. So from it's too expensive, you know.
uh,
But you can do things. There are things you can do.
This frightened me really. Nanotechnology and nombre premier. I don't how they call them in English les nombres premiers because we know they use
Prime
them for
number?
primary number. Yeah,
Yeah.
nanotechnology and primary number for me are the two most frightening thing. That when everyone who talks about sovereignty, and I told him, do you know prime number and you know nanotechnology? If he didn't understand the impact of those two very small things,
Yeah.
they seem small, but they are huge for us. They are huge for us.
It's funny you bring prime numbers. I spent since high school. I have been crazy every year, easily, or every few months. I sit down and take a piece of paper, I try to find a formula that find all the prime numbers.
Okay.
I tend to
Uh,
fall asleep all the time.
yeah. Yeah. Belgacem, thank you very much. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this exchange with you. I know it's very short, but it's just to give a taste of the challenges that
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
to
And
overcome.
for me, it was very
Uh,
important people
yeah.
understand the difference
Yeah,
between the.
yeah. It's a purpose of this
Yeah.
exchange that we have. Just understand clearly the
Yeah.
size of the challenges that the new
Yeah.
generation has to face and to overcome for the future of this country. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Sure. Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah.
don't quit. I'm going to stop only the
Sure.
records
Thanks.
and thank you very much. Bye. Bye.